Hey guys, Chauncey Phillips here with our brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday Shop Fair today. Taking a go out today, see things came out, see things are on sale today. Today though, some of the big releases that comes out is the film Gemini Man. And with that one, I don't believe there's any, retail exclusives of that, but there is a 4K Ultra HD Steelbook release of that one. And I'll be having a closer look unboxing at that one at the end of this video. Also though, the film Maleficent Mistress of Evil, that one releases. And with that one, I know Target has an exclusive and Best Buy has an exclusive Steelbook of that one. Also though, the film Jexi, that releases today. And also at the end of this video is going to be a whole bunch of brand new DVD, Blu-ray, and 4K reviews for some things I received to review and talk about for you guys. Some really cool stuff, so definitely stay tuned for those at the end of this video. And as always too, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of the DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks that I reviewed at the end of this video, what you guys thought of them, if you guys seen them, also if you guys plan on picking any of them up. But anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Target we go. And I also want to let you guys know that as of right now, there's only a little more than 24 hours left to help out the upcoming horror film that I'll be acting in called Compatible. It's a movie done in the style of a film like Unfriended and Searching. Has a really cool cast as well. Check out the link below and you guys can find out more about the film. And they have on there like a lot of really cool perks, like a DVD pre-order of the film, a signed DVD pre-order of the movie, which you guys would get the movie earlier than the general release of the film, as well as a whole bunch of other really cool perks as well. So definitely check out the link below for that one. Like I said, only a little more than 24 hours if you guys are interested in helping out the project. But in here though, in the front of the store though, I see Maleficent Mistress of Evil here. I don't see any of the exclusives. I see the standard DVD here of that one. That one's $19.99 for that. And then it's $24.99 for the Blu-ray of that. And then they still have, Joker in the front. And then I was mentioning as well, Jexi, that one released. This is actually a fun movie. I like this one about like Adam Devine's character, and he gets a brand new phone and has like an app on there. It's like a Siri kind of app. And like it's kind of like telling him everything to do in his life, and it's like trying to get it to get him out and do different things. And if he says he doesn't want to do things, it kind of like starts talking for him and forcing him into things, and kind of like making his life kind of like a mess in a lot of ways. But it's actually a really fun movie. That one is on $19.99 for that one. But we'll check over in the actual section though to see if they have any of the exclusives over there. But over here though in the actual section, I see Maleficent Mistress of Evil here on 4K, and they have the exclusive, Target exclusive, and that one is $34.99 for that one. Other than that though, the standard 4K is $29.99 for that one. And then they have as well the Aaron Eckhart new film, Line of Duty, and that one's $17.99 for that one. They also have this movie here starring Steven Seagal called Beyond the Law, and that one's $14.99, as well as the new Nicolas Cage movie Running with the Devil, and that's $17.99 for that one. Other than that though, on the other side they have the Pauly Shore movie that he does the voice in, The Big Trip, for $9.99, as well as the Jungle Book 4K for $29.99, as well as Krypton Season 2 here for $19.99. Yeah, but in there though, it was weird. The only thing that I didn't see new release-wise was Gemini Man, which I feel like I'm definitely gonna feel like they're gonna have the movie, but this looks like they didn't put that one out yet though. So I don't know as well either if they're gonna carry the 4K Steelbook in there or not. Like I said, it's not an exclusive one to any specific store, so I'm not sure which stores though for sure will be having that one in. Into Walmart we go. Well, I don't know what's happened here today. Like, look, there's absolutely none of the new stuff out. No Maleficent put out. All the spots are here for them, like from Maleficent here, and then like, and then this isn't even out yet. Zombieland 2. There's a spot for Zombieland 2. I don't know if that might be one of those ones. I don't know what that edition is, but that comes out next Tuesday. So I have to head to another location. So that's really strange. There's no Jexi out, none of them. But the things out there saying Gemini Man, but yeah, none of the new stuff here at all. And I don't see anything different over here wise as far as I can tell, because all this stuff changed out last Tuesday, but it seems to be all the same stuff that I saw last week. One of the only ones I didn't remember seeing last week put out here was this one, A Million Little Pieces here. If you guys have seen this one though, let me know if this one's worth checking out. But other than that though, it's all the same stuff I saw out last Tuesday. It doesn't seem like there's anything else different, but yeah, we'll definitely have to head to another Walmart, and hopefully, fingers crossed, they have the stuff out there though. Into the second Walmart we go, and fingers crossed this one has all the stuff out in here, but we'll see. Yeah, well, luckily enough, though, this location has out all the stuff. In here, though, it has Gemini Man. The 4K one is $27.99 for that one, and it includes a bonus digital copy of XXX Return of Xander Cage on here. So I don't know if that's an exclusive to Walmart, and then the standard Blu-ray, that one's $22.99 for that. Then it's $17.99 for the DVD. And then Maleficent here, the 4K of that one is $29.96, and then it's $24.96 for the Blu-ray of that one, and $19.96 for the DVD of that. And then Jexi here, the DVD of that one is $12.96, and then $17.96 for the Blu-ray of that. Other than that, though, they have that movie Beyond the Law here as well, and that one's $14.96 for the Blu-ray, $12.96 for the DVD. And let's see, and here's the thing that they had, the other one, that Zombieland. It's like the one that has only at Walmart, which has the original movie, then a digital copy of the new film for $22.96 for that. So let's see what's different over here. I did see, yeah, so they have Krypton, the second and final season here. That one is on $19.96 for that one on DVD. Then they have the complete series here for $34.96 on DVD. Let's see anything else over here. A bunch of these different like movie collection ones here that include like the Voodoo copies. So this one is like a Leprechaun one, and it has like the yeah, so it has all the movies on DVD, and then it has digital copies as well of them on Voodoo, and it has the newest one as Voodoo, but doesn't have that one on DVD in that set. Yeah, it's a bunch of these different, like, you know, Voodoo collection ones here. I like some of these ones I definitely haven't seen before, like this Rush Hour one, and this has like so this one has, I guess it just has the first Rush Hour movie. Yeah, so it has the first Rush Hour movie on Blu-ray, then the other three on digital, and it's the same one like this here. This one only has Lethal Weapon 4. This is an interesting thing they're doing. Yeah, it only has the first movie on Blu-ray and then all four on Voodoo. Yes, these are definitely new ones here. It's a weird way though how it only has one of the movies on physical disc. Like another one over here for The Hangover, and they all seem to be about like $24.96 for these ones. Yeah, it only has the first Hangover movie and then all the other ones, but on digital. Over here too, I see the Big Trip. This one released today, and that one's on $9.96 for that one. Then they have the Turkey Bowl for $14.96. I'm gonna have a review of that one at the end of this video. This one here, I've never heard of this one, the Death and Life of John F. Donovan. If you guys have seen this movie though, let me know how this one was. I've not heard of this one at all. And this one movie here with Omar Epps called 3022. It's another one, I've never heard of this one. If you guys have seen this one, let me know if this one here is worth checking out. But other than that though, I don't see anything else here new. It seems to be all the same stuff from last Tuesday that released. It doesn't look like there's anything else different mixed in over here. I did see though these new like movie money things here that are like include $5 towards towards a new Doolittle film, and then it also includes these like coasters, Doolittle coasters in here inside this one. Yeah, so in the back it includes a Doolittle coaster, 1 of 4. And it also looks like it has $5 Voodoo credit with these ones. So it's ones like Waterworld here, Mortal Engines, Stray, the Beethoven collection here, Secret Life of Pets 2. Yeah, so these are pretty interesting. Like I said, they all have these different coasters as well in these ones. But other than that though, that seems to be all the main things in here today. And this past weekend, the only movie I got to see in theaters was the film Underwater. It was from the same director of the film The Signal, which, The Signal released in 2014. If you guys have never seen The Signal, though, that's an absolute must-watch movie. I remember, too, when that one first released, how much I loved the film. This one, though, wasn't as cool as The Signal, but there still was some really, really cool aspects to this one. This one stars Kristen Stewart and T.J. Miller, and it's essentially, though, it takes place in this underwater, essentially it's like on the bottom of the ocean, like this drilling kind of compound there where they're drilling for something, and it's about like the compound though, something happens and it floods in with the water, and it's Kristen Stewart and some of the other people who are in there trying to figure out exactly how they're going to get to the surface, and they have to like walk from one thing to the other, and they find out though that there's some kind of like these creatures underwater, and it's them trying to survive and everything. The one thing with the movie though was it's one of those films where it just starts with Kristen Stewart's character, and then noticing the water starting to rush in, and she has to try and get to the other area and like survive and all this kind of stuff, and it just starts without like any like character development, so you don't really get to know the characters at all. And there's like these two characters are supposed to be like a couple, and they're like talking about that, but they don't really like, there's no like scene really explaining it. Like I feel like this is like one of those movies where it kind of feels like it was only an hour and a half long, and I feel like it needed to be like 2 hours. It had this feeling like it got cut down, like a lot of things were like missing from it. But there was some cool stuff though, aspects of the movie. It was basically like Alien mixed with like The Abyss and Deep Star 6. It was that kind of vibe. So if you guys like those kind of movies, like underwater creature kind of films, still is for sure, worth checking out. If you guys get to see the movie though, let me know in the comments below though what you guys thought of the film, or what movies you saw this past week, and if you guys got to check anything out. Into Best Buy we go. And in here, though, on the front, though, they do have the Gemini Man 4K Ultra HD Steelbook in here, and that one's $32.99 for that one, and then it's $27.99 for the standard 4K, and then $22.99 for the standard Blu-ray of that one. And other than that, on the other side, though, I peeked over here a second ago, and they don't have any of the Maleficent Steelbooks here, but it's going to be $34.99 for that one. I'll check in the actual section, though, to see if they have any of that one, but the standard 4K Maleficent is $29.99. And then $22.99 for the DVD Blu-ray combo of Maleficent. But also, though, the Jungle Book, that one released today on 4K, and that one's $29.99 for that one. And they have a Best Buy exclusive Steelbook of that one, and that one's $34.99 for that one. That's a pretty cool Steelbook. I only saw this one when this first, went to theaters, and I remember actually thinking this is a pretty good one, though. But other than that, though, I don't see Jexi here, so I'll check over in the actual section, though, to see if they have Jexi over there. But over here, though, in the actual section, though, they do have Jexi here for $17.99 here on Blu-ray. And like I was saying, this is actually a really, really fun movie. Would definitely recommend you guys check this one out. I really like that one a lot. Other than that, though, they have this new Steven Seagal DMX movie for $14.99 here on Blu-ray. This is one, though, I don't know anything about this. If you guys have watched this one, let me know how that one was. Other than that, though, they have the Mindy project here, which just released today on Blu-ray, and that one's $39.99 for that one. This is one of those shows, though, I've never actually seen any episodes of that one. But other than that, though, over here, they have Krypton here on Blu-ray, the complete second season. That one's $22.99. They have the Aaron Eckhart film here, On the Line, on Blu-ray, and that one's $14.99, as well as the new Nicolas Cage movie, starring Nicolas Cage and Lawrence Fishburne for $12.99 here, called Running with the Devil. But I don't see any of the Maleficent Steelbooks here, for the new film. They do have the old Steelbook here for the first movie. Other than that, though, that seems to be all the new things I see here today, though. So anyway, though, guys, that's all for my DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Like I always say, if you guys enjoy these shopping videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Also, let me know in the comments below, what you guys picked up on DVD, Blu-ray, or 4K. If you guys picked up anything today. Also, too, be sure to check out the Kickstarter for the movie, Compatible. Like I said, there's only a little more than 24 hours left if you guys were interested in helping out the film. Also, too, let me know, what you guys thought of all the DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks that I reviewed at the end of this video. If you guys have seen any of them, what you guys thought, and also if you guys plan on picking any of them up. But anyway, though, guys, now stay tuned for the brand new reviews. And before we get to the reviews, we're going to take a closer look here at the 4K limited edition steelbook for the Will Smith film Gemini Man, which is directed by Ang Lee. Paramount sent over a copy of this one to show you guys in detail here. And this is a movie, too. I talked about this one, my video last week when I was reviewing this one. But if you guys have not seen this movie, this is a really, really fun movie. It's basically, though, about Will Smith's character, who's like this hitman who ends up basically, retiring from his job, and he can't do it anymore. He feels like he's not sharp enough anymore to do it, and he retires. But basically, though, when he retires, though, someone soon after comes after him to try and take him out, and it's a younger version of himself. It's a clone of himself that's a younger version. He basically is one step ahead of Will Smith's character the whole time because it's him. So he kind of knows his skills. He kind of knows, he's basically one step ahead of him because he's younger, and he also knows the way he thinks. It's a really, really interesting concept and a really, really fun movie. But here's a look, though, here at the Steelbook. And I love how you have, the current Will Smith and then the young Will Smith on here like this. This says Gemini Man here, and on the back, you have, the older Will Smith and then the younger Will Smith. I love the way this one is laid out. This is a really, really fun movie, and this is the 4K edition. And inside of here, though, it has the 4K disc, as well as the Blu-ray disc, as well as a digital copy of the film. And we'll take the discs out here. here and look underneath it here what the Steelbook looks like. Like I said, though, this is a really, really fun movie if you guys have not seen this one. Also, 4K-wise, this movie looks great. So if you guys have 4K capacities, would highly recommend you guys pick up the 4K edition of this movie here. Like I said, though, thanks for Paramount for sending over this Steelbook version here of the film. And if you guys have seen, too, Gemini Man, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this one. And the first one I got here is from Arrow Video, and this is a slasher film which I had never seen before. This is absolutely a must-watch. You guys have totally got to check this one out, especially if you love 80s slasher films. It's a movie here called Edge of the Axe. And the killer, too, I absolutely love the mask that he wears. It's like this white, plain mask, but it's actually really, really creepy. And essentially, though, it's about, in the beginning of this movie, you see this woman going through a car wash, and then this crazed killer has an axe, and he, kills the woman at the car wash. And essentially, though, it's about like this killer going around the town, killing women and everything. And the movie focuses on these two guys who are friends. The one guy is like really into computers, and he fixes up like jukeboxes and electronics and fixes stuff like that. The other guy, he has like an extermination business, and he goes around to businesses like catching rats and killing bugs and all that kind of stuff. And they're both friends and work together and everything. And the one who's into computers, this is like takes place in '87, so it's like before computers are really like really that popular yet, and he's always messing around on it, and people giving him all kinds of grief, like, oh, all you do is mess around on those computers. And he's doing like weird kind of games on it, like really early kind of games, and he has like a typing program, and he's talking about like kind of like before the internet, he was like calling it like, oh, you can tap into the network and you can like find out kind of all kind of different things in the network. But essentially, though, in this town, though, people are getting women are getting killed off by this killer, and it's like a whodunit because you don't know who the killer is because it's wearing this mask. And basically, though, the one guy who's really into computers, he ends up meeting this one girl who's in town for the summer, working at the nearby bar, and they kind of start seeing each other and start to like each other. And that's going on at the same time. This killer's going around killing people, and they're like, the cop, the sheriff, he's kind of like, anytime someone's killed, he's going, well, that looked like an accident. We don't need to do like an autopsy. That was just an accident. And they're like, well, it looks like this person was killed. We see like slash marks. Oh no, this was just an accident. They fell down and all this. So they don't. This sheriff like doesn't want anything to do with this. He doesn't want any trouble in the town. And it's just essentially, though, this like great stuff, and it has all these, like I said, real early computer stuff, because like the girl that he meets, she likes computers as well. So he gives her his old computer, and they're like typing back and forth in this kind of weird typing program where like when he types something, you hear like his voice speaking it and stuff. Like it was really interesting kind of stuff. And I also really loved like the synth music in this movie. But I thought it was actually a really effective movie. The director of this one did the movie Vampires and Symptoms, both which Arrow Video released a couple months back in like a collection. But I like his other movies. I like the other films that he did. But this is like one of those like slasher movies that I feel like is a really under the radar one that I feel like not a lot of people have seen. Looks great on on Blu-ray. It has a brand new 2K restoration from the camera negative. It has on here a commentary track on here with one of the actors. It has a commentary track on here with the Hysteria Continues group. And they've done commentaries on lots of releases in the past. I always like their stuff. They always have lots of interesting like trivia facts about the movie. It's everything. Also has on here a bunch of different cast interviews on here, has an image gallery, an interview on here with one of the special effects makeup artists on this one. But this is one, like I said, if you guys like slasher movies, this is an absolute must-watch. Really, really fun movie, and like some really, really memorable kind of stuff in here. Like I said, the mask in this one is really cool. Has a booklet in here, which has some, pictures from the production, some stuff about the movie and everything. But like I said, a really, really cool slasher film. It's always cool, too, to see a slasher movie that I had never seen before, had never heard of before, and this one was definitely a cool one. The next one here is from Shout Factory Scream Factory line, and this is the movie that I have always really liked. This movie, it's called Let's Scare Jessica to Death. there's something about this movie, the whole way that it plays out. It has this vibe of it, like this like horrific nightmare. It has like this dream kind of nightmare vibe to this. Just everything about the way the movie plays out, the music in this movie. It has really, really like strange music, like tones and all these kind of weird sounds, and it just sort of feels like this like crazy, you know, experience just because of everything that's happened in this movie. It is so peculiar. And it's basically though about like this couple that end up moving back to this small town with their one friend, and he's kind of come back to, because they moved to like this apple orchard, and he's gonna go there and help them. Like, he's doing something weird to the apple orchard. He's like spraying, I guess, like chemicals or pesticide on it or something. But the wife though, she ended up you know, coming out of the mental hospital, and they kind of need a change because like to get her away from the city and everything. So she's out there, but the second she gets there, she starts like acting really off, and the husband is like, oh no, is this all starting over again? Is she having another like mental breakdown? She starts like acting as if she's seeing things. She starts seeing this woman. She's basically, there's all these weird sort of things that are happening. There's weird things that are happening in the house, and it's kind of like they're also, right when they get to the house too, there's this weird woman who's like squatting in the house, but then like they don't want her to leave because the wife's like, oh, you should ask her to just stay here, you should let her stay. And she's just like squatting in this house, this kind of hippie woman that's just like staying in the house. And it's just kind of like about, you know, is her character, you know, is she cracking up again? You know, because she was in the psych ward. Is this happening again? Or is there literally something going on in this house and in this whole area? And like the town too. It's kind of like, I feel like the movie Troll 2 had inspiration from this movie a little bit, because like the characters in the town, they all have like these bandages on their arms and stuff. But I always thought though, the way they shot the movie, they didn't show the bandages well. And I never understood why they didn't focus on them more, because they were going, oh, did you see they all had these bandages on their arms? But there was never, in the points when they were talking about them, they never showed them well. And I felt like that was the one thing I didn't like. Why did they not do like close-ups of the bandages back when they shot this? Like, because they didn't focus on them well enough in the beginning when she was first talking about them. I'm like, why did they not show the bandages a little bit? They were talking about them, but I'm like, did they even show the bandages very well? But like they all had these weird sort of bandages on their arms and like and their legs. It's like something was really off in this town. And essentially though, it's just kind of like this whole like craziness the way the movie goes. But it's one, I feel like a lot of people have probably not seen this movie, and I really like this movie. On here though, it has a commentary track on here with the co-writer and director of the movie, has an interview on here with the composer, interview with film historian Kim Newman, a new location featurette showing the locations of the movie now, a theatrical trailer, TV spot, radio spot, and a still gallery on this one. And the next one here is from Scream Factory as well. It's a movie here called Body Parts, which stars on here, who was the star of this movie? It was Jeff Fahey. And like I said, this one here is called Body Parts. This is another one that I when I was watching this, I was thinking, did I see this one years and years back? And I feel like I might have rented this one like as a kid on like VHS or something back in the day. I couldn't be sure. Or maybe I saw it on like USA Up All Night or something as a kid, something like that. But this is another one that was a really cool movie, kind of like sort of in a way like what inspired like a movie like Idle Hands a little bit, but not exactly the same though. Like it's not like the crazy wackiness, but it's basically though about Jeff Fahey's character, who gets into this accident and he loses his arm, and they have like at the hospital though, they're like, well, he lost his arm, but we have this experimental surgery that we're going to do if you agree to it. He says that, the doctor says that to his wife, Jeff Fahey's character's wife, and says, listen, we have a donor that we can give to your husband, and he will have a fully functional hand. This is a total experimental surgery, but we know we can do it. And, you know, he ends up getting this body part, you know, this arm attached to him. But it turns out that the arm, and you find this out in the beginning, is the arm that belonged to this crazed serial killer. And there's like this intense, gross scene of like the arm being transplanted and everything. But essentially though, the arm you know, it starts to kind of like be controlling and acting really strange, and Jeff Fahey's character starts to kind of like act really off. And I think The Simpsons did an episode, as I remember too, that was, I think, might have been based on this a little bit, or this was based on something else before. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember The Simpsons had one when I think it was like Homer getting like Snake's arm or something like that. I might be wrong about that, but I remember something like that. But essentially, though, you know, Brad Dourif is also in this movie, and Brad Dourif was, you know, got the other arm, and Brad Dourif's character like has like weird sort of you know, it starts to making these kind of dark paintings because of this, because like basically like the serial killer is like taking over the person, and they're like Jeff Fahey's character is like seeing these images in his mind, and he's sleeping and stuff of strangling people and all these crazy type things. And it's basically, it has all to do with this arm, and it's kind of like it just continuously gets worse and worse, and like, you know, the other parts too, who has these, and it's like, it's a really interesting movie. If you guys have never seen this one, another one I would definitely recommend you guys check out. Has on here though a commentary track on here with the writer and co-director on this one. I mean the director and co-writer. Has an interview on here with Eric Reed and Paul Victor, and as well as the editor on here. It has deleted scenes with optional commentary track, and a theatrical trailer on this one. And the next one I got here is from Lionsgate. This is a movie, I saw this one in theaters as well, and I really like this movie. It's called Jexi. This stars Adam Devine, Alexander Shipp, Michael Pena, and Rose Byrne. And Rose Byrne plays the voice of the phone app that Adam Devine's character gets. It's basically, though, Adam Devine's character is this guy who kind of is like afraid of doing anything. He kind of like just kind of he doesn't really hang out with any friends. He doesn't really go out. He's real like kind of to himself. Anytime it's anyone that he works with like invites him to go out or like go out for a drink and stuff, he's like, oh, I'm busy, even though he's not busy. And he ends up getting this new phone, and it has like this app built in, like kind of like a Siri type thing, and it's called Jexi, and it's like a new like big app where like it will help you do things, and it will help you like you know, which way do I get to this, and you know, hey Jexi, where's this, and how, you know, where's the closest place to order food and everything. But the app that ends up being on this phone is basically this controlling app, and it starts giving Adam Devine's character all kinds of grief, and like starts like, you know, if someone at work invites him to go out, he goes, oh, I'm sorry, I'm busy. Then Jexi starts saying, no, you're not, you're totally free, you can go out. And it starts basically kind of like going and like controlling his life, and like making him do things, and then like kind of messing things up for him. And it kind of like things get like worse and worse and worse as it goes along. At the same time, there is good things that come of it, but it's just a whole lot of like ups and downs going on throughout this movie. And you know, Alexander Shipp's character is a character that, you know, he meets her, Adam Devine's character meets her because she works nearby, and they sort of start going out. Michael Pena, though, I thought he was great in this movie, though, playing Adam Devine's boss, where he works, and he has like some really funny scenes in this movie. But I thought this was a really fun movie. You guys totally should check this one out. Has on here, though, a making of on here, as well as a number of different featurettes on the film here. But like I said, this is a really fun movie. I thought Adam Devine did a really good job too carrying this film. And the next one I got here is from Lionsgate as well, and this is one I was so excited to watch because I've always been a fan of Kevin Smith's films, especially the View Askew universe movies, which is, you know, Clerks, Mallrats, Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, Dogma, you know, Jersey Girl, and this is Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. And I will say, though, I absolutely love this movie. This totally has the same vibe and feel to all the other View Askew universe movies. It doesn't have like a forced quality to it or anything like that, or have this like feel of like, you know, trying just to make a sequel to make a sequel. It really doesn't to me. It has some really funny stuff. And he also really did a great job too with bringing back all these characters, and like bringing them back in like ways that really worked, and like throwing back to certain things, and certain people you weren't expecting to come back again were back. And I don't know, I really liked it. There was also some really touching moments in here that really worked. And I thought that Jason Mewes, this was definitely his best performance. I thought he did such a great job really conveying a lot more emotion than I've seen him do in other films and even some of the other movies. I thought that he just did a really great job. There was like some kind of sad stuff that was happening here as well, like some slight tearjerker moments, I have to be honest, in here, that were actually worked and were very effective. And the movie, though, if you guys didn't see the, you know, the first Jay and Silent Bob film, which was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, it was the characters of, you know, Jay and Silent Bob played by Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith, who were, you know, their characters, you know, there was a comic book series called the Blunt Man and Chronic comic book series. It was based off of them, and they kind of knew about it, but then they found out that they were making a big Hollywood movie about it, and they were really upset about it, so they were going to Hollywood on this road trip to, you know, to try and stop it. Now in this movie, though, they found out that Hollywood is rebooting and doing a, you know, big new remake of the Blunt Man and Chronic film again, and it's going to be directed by Kevin Smith. And they don't like Kevin Smith, or they don't like the idea at all that this reboot is happening. So it's them going now again to Hollywood on another road trip to try and stop the whole thing again. And it's kind of them, you know, their whole journey, what they come across. And Jason Mewes' character finds out in the beginning of the movie that he has a daughter, but he's not allowed to tell her about it. And they're, you know, her along with her friends are going on the road trip with, you know, with them because they want to go to this convention. Because, you know, in the beginning of the movie, Jay and Silent Bob find out that they, you know, the movie is being shot at this convention. It's all about Blunt Man and Chronic and everything. So they're going there, and these, you know, they're the kids though, they want to go as well to this convention. So it's them all going on this journey to get there. And like I said, all the kind of problems that they come along the way and everything. But this was honestly such a fun movie. It has the total feel to the other View Askew universe movies. I thought Kevin Smith did such a great job with this movie, and like I said, it was just really, really well done, and had some really, really funny moments in here as well. On here though, feature wise, it has cast interviews on here. It also has bloopers. I think it's like 10 minutes of bloopers, as well as a hair reel, which is them like when their hair was all kind of messed up, and it was like all the times they had to keep fixing it because, you know, Kevin Smith was wearing like these extensions, and Jay's, you know, grown his hair back because he's been growing it back for years, and it's like him, like all the times they were fixing it and everything. But if you guys are fan though of, you know, the View Askew universe movies and Kevin Smith's films, especially like I said, the View Askew universe, you know, that series of movies, definitely worth checking out. And also, if you guys have seen this too, let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this one. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well. It's a movie that stars Olga, I never know how to say her last name, Kurlenko, and as well as Gary Oldman and Dermot Mulroney. And it's called The Courier, and this is basically though about this woman who is basically, you know, Gary Oldman's character is like, basically people are going to be like testifying against him because of these bad things that he has done, and it's kind of like he's done really terrible things, and you know, he wants to do anything he can to kind of stay out of prison. And he, like, the one person who's like the witness that's going to be testifying against him, because it's going to be this huge like court thing, but because of like the dangerousness, he's like doing his like testifying in like a hotel room, and it's going to be broadcast to the courtroom, so like he won't actually have to go into the courtroom because he's too afraid, because of like the whole situation. He's afraid that someone will try and, you know, attack him or kill him or something like that. So he ends up doing it from this hotel room, and there's something there that's he's supposed to be get sent, like the courier, she's supposed to be bringing this like device they need to start broadcasting live, and she just is doing her job, and she goes there and brings this device, and it turns out though that it's like this box with this poisonous gas which is let out, you know, in this room, where the hotel room where the witness is. And the woman who's the courier, she ends up having to save this guy, and she ends up getting away with him. It's basically though about Gary Oldman's character sending all these people like after them, and it's kind of like her in this terrible nightmare situation, trying to get away and trying to figure out exactly what she's going to do, and like figure out how this guy is going to, you know, testify and try and bring down Gary Oldman for all the horrible things that he's doing and continuing to do. And like it's one of those things too where you don't know who you can trust, because like people who are like supposed to be protecting this guy in the hotel room, like one of the people was in on it, and you find out in the beginning, and it's just kind of like this whole nightmare like thing about people coming after them, and the whole thing is actually a pretty cool movie here. Has on here though a commentary track on here with the writer, the director, writer, and executive producer, as well as the composer on this one, as well as a trailer gallery. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well. This is the complete third season of MacGyver, which stars, you know, Lucas Till, and this is actually a really fun show. I have not seen seen all the episodes of the of the newest series though. I've seen a couple episodes from each season of the show, and I feel like this is actually a pretty cool new updated rendition of the show, because when it came to the original show, I watched a couple episodes here and there growing up and as a kid and stuff, and I always remember too the original series always being brought up a lot on The Simpsons, like early on The Simpsons, like that, like some of my earliest memories of The Simpsons were remembering like Patty and Selma bringing up MacGyver. I feel like a lot of people would probably remember that when they think of MacGyver, but like when MacGyver was on, like originally, I didn't see too many of them. I saw more of them later in like reruns and everything, but it's basically though like Lucas Hill's character who goes and basically is like going on missions trying to like save people and save problems, and always ends up in kind of situations, and he has to try and figure out how to like get out of them, and he has all kind of like little things that he can kind of like save the day with, like inventions that he has and little things. Basically he like cuts the wire to an explosive or something like that last minute, and he has to rewire things and cut the right wire and all sorts of kind of things. But it's actually, like I said, it's actually a really, really fun show, and I feel like it's a really, really good update to the series here. And this is the complete like I said, complete third season here of the show, and it's a 5-disc set here for this one. The next one here is from Lionsgate as well. It's a movie here called The Turkey Bowl, and this is basically though about this one guy who he's always getting invited back to his hometown where he grew up and everything to come to see his friends and stuff like that, and he always is avoiding it. He doesn't really want to go back. He kind of is like kind of moved on from where he grew up and everything, and he doesn't want to go back, and he knows there's like a reason to why they always are trying to get him to come back, because years back in like I think it was 15 years ago, there was like a football game that they were playing on Thanksgiving that they never ended up actually finishing for one reason or another. And it's like this game that was like never completed, this Turkey Bowl game. And it's like kind of like always like the one friend is always bringing up like, oh, I wish we finished this game. We got to finish this game. We had the rivalry with the other team and we never completed this. And the one day, the 1 year though, when he gets invited back to go back, the friend, he gets like, finds out that his friend died, and he gets there to go to his funeral. And as soon as he gets there in the beginning of this movie to go to the funeral, he's finally back in this town. He didn't really want to come back, and now he's sort of feeling bad that he didn't go back, because he's like, my friend died in this accident. As soon as he gets there, he goes to the bar, and his friend's sitting there, and he finds out that it was a whole like charade to get him to finally come back, to get him to play this game. And he gets back, and he's like, okay, I got to do this, but he also wants to get back to see his girlfriend by Thanksgiving, because he has a plan of he wants to get engaged to her, and he needs to be back. So he finds himself sort of trapped there, and he's like, okay, I'll play this game, but I got to get back by Thanksgiving. And it becomes this whole like all like the rivalries that were there but in the past with this other team kind of come back, and the other team is like really in shape, and like he knows that they're gonna win. And they end up betting him, like, if they don't win, the one friend's, like, said, the one guy, the other team says, oh, well, we're going to bet you, if we win, we're going to get the bar, your town bar that the one friend's owns. And it's kind of about them trying to get back to see if they can actually play football again. And kind of like all the, like I said, the rivalries coming back and them trying to play this game again. It's actually a really fun movie. It has on here, though, a commentary track on here with the director, as well as deleted scenes of the commentary track on this one. The next one here is from Paramount. This is Terminator Dark Fate. And this is the 4K Ultra HD Edition, which includes the 4K, the Blu-ray, and then the digital copy of the film. And this one here, this movie takes place, this is basically, takes place directly after T2. So all the other Terminator movies, don't exist in the universe of this film. I will say, though, I really did like Terminator Genesis, the Terminator film before this. I really did like that one. I honestly, wish that series, that particular one, would have continued on, too, because I did like where that one was going. I thought that was actually going in an interesting direction. And this one, though, the coolest aspect to this, though, was having Linda Hamilton back, because Linda Hamilton was, the last movie she was in was T2, so to have her come back again, I thought was really cool. So this one takes place, though, it was I think like directly after. So it takes place now, but directly after, the last film. It's basically, though, about a new Terminator it's hard to explain though. It's about, you know, Mackenzie Davis's character who's come from the future, and she's kind of there to try and protect this one girl who she's pivoted. She's, you know, super important for protecting the future and everything, you know, that's going to happen. But things are different now though, like because of the you know, in the last one that Skynet was brought down, there's a whole nother threat that's kind of come up, and there's another like character too who's coming after them, who's trying to kill her. So it's kind of like I said, it's like T2 again a little bit, about like this new Terminator character who's kind of coming after them. And of course Arnold Schwarzenegger is back, but Arnold Schwarzenegger's character now is older, and it's an interesting way they did it. I thought there was an interesting aspect to it. I do wish though that John Connor was in it. It would have been so cool to have, you know, I mean he is in it for a minute, but it would have been so cool to have Eddie Furlong back. I feel like that would have been like a really cool aspect to the movie, was to have him back, even if it was only for like a scene with him now. I feel like that would have been a really cool aspect, just to have him back again. And you know, who knows, maybe if they didn't do another one, he could come back, you know, in some way they could figure out a way to do it. But I thought it was interesting though. Like I said, I like Mackenzie Davis in here, and like I said, the big point to me that was the coolest part was having Linda Hamilton back. I thought that was really, really cool to have her back again. 4K wise though, this movie looks absolutely amazing on 4K. It's like one of those films that if you guys have 4K capacities, would be one I would definitely recommend you guys pick up, the 4K edition of the film. On here though, it has a whole bunch of different features. It has deleted and extended scenes on here. It has in-depth behind the scenes featurettes. So lots and lots of features on this one here. And the next one I got here is from Paramount as well. It's a movie here called I See You, which stars Helen Hunt. Now this is one I'll give a top recommendation to. I absolutely love this movie, and there was stuff in this movie I totally was not expecting. It's one of those movies too, I was so into this movie. I thought it was such an interesting movie, and like I said, with some really, really, you know, totally different things that I was 100% not expecting. And it's basically though about Helen Hunt's character and her husband, and like she recently had an affair, and like he's not trusting her at all. He pretty much won't talk to her. You know, he's always like out. He's not like, if she calls, he won't pick up. But basically what's going on though is like his character is a cop, and there is like this one kid has gone missing, and at the crime scene they found this knife, this little like pocket knife. And what's weird about this is this pocket knife was found years back in these missing persons cases from years ago, and the guy was caught, and they believed that, you know, this was over with, and it's looking like, is it a copycat going on? So he's trying to figure out about what's happened to this kid and where this person went. And then at the same time at home, Helen Hunt's character is starting to notice strange things are going on in the house. They're all starting, the whole family's noticing things. Like things in the house are starting to move, like things are going missing, like a picture in the frame all of a sudden is gone, and like things, really odd stuff is going on in the house. And it's kind of like, what is going on? Is this like a ghost? What is going on in this house? And there's all sorts of like weirder and weirder things going on, and it's like, and it's happening to all of them. And then they're all trying in the house, the son as well, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. But then the movie like switches, and that's all I can say. And it's like, it was so I love the way it switches too to this what they do, and I'm like, wow, this was really, really good. I mean, this honestly was absolutely excellent. This is one of those movies you guys have got to watch. This movie, you cannot say much about this movie at all, but this was really well written and really well thought out, and like one of those movies that like really makes you like movies. Like, it was really good. I mean, honestly, I was like thinking about this movie so much, and about how surprised I was with certain things in this, and like the whole outcome of everything. Definitely check this one out if you guys have seen this one too. Let me know in the comments below what you guys thought of this one. And the next one I got here is from Warner Brothers. They sent out a free copy of this one to let you guys know this one is available. This is the complete second and final season of the show Krypton here. This is a show that, you know, originally aired on the Sci-Fi Channel. And I saw a couple episodes of the first season of this show. Thought this was actually a pretty cool show. And this is essentially a prequel to everything to do with Superman. Everything like dealing with like before Superman was born, because this is about Superman's grandfather. And it takes place on Krypton, you know, where Superman is from. And it deals with kind of about all the power struggles that are going on the planet, all the kind of battles that they're having going on, you know, everything that kind of that's going on this planet, and as well as with, you know, General Zod trying to control everything and take over, and all sorts of kind of problems going on. It's actually a really cool show. Has like really cool like creatures in it, and like battles and stuff that are going on. On here though, it has two different featurettes. It has one on here which is villains, modes of persuasion and expiration of the needs, wants, and desires that fuel the nefarious deeds perpetuated by your favorite DC villains, as well as the Fate of Superman featurette, which is with executive producer David S. Goyer reflecting on the lineage, and as talking about the universe of Superman and everything on this one. But like I said, if you guys are a fan of this show, want to let you guys know that this one is available here. And the next one I got here is from Blue Underground. This is a really cool brand new 3-disc limited edition here of Lucio Fulci's House by the Cemetery. This has in here, it's a 2-disc Blu-ray, and then includes a CD with the movie's soundtrack on here. The movie has really cool music in here. Like, really love this music. And I also love this lenticular cover here. I really love when Blue Underground has these lenticular covers on their releases. Now this movie though, it's a little hard to explain what's going on in this movie. It's basically similar in tone to like the Amityville Horror a little bit. It's about this family though that is moving to this new house, and like right when they're about to leave though, in their old house, they have like this picture on the wall, and it's like of a house that like looks a lot like the one they're moving to. And in the window of that of this picture on the wall, the one kid though, he sees like this girl like this, like warning him like don't go. The kid's like telling his mom, going, "Oh, mine, there's this picture, this girl's in the window trying to warn us we shouldn't go, that it's dangerous, that there's bad things in this house." And she's like, "What are you talking about? There's no one in the window there. What are you seeing?" And the second they get there though, the kid, when the parents are like working on like signing the papers to move in the house and everything, the kid sees this same girl in the town and like starts talking to this girl. And it's essentially though, the second they get to this house, weird sort of things happen. Things are happening to people around there, like these deaths and all sorts of kind of things. And it's like dealing with like in this house, like looking into the history of what was going on there. And like there's like this crazed doctor that did these weird sorts of experiments there and everything. And like maybe this doctor is still there. Is there a ghost in this house? What's exactly going on? Like I said, it's really hard to explain, but it's basically like trying to be like an Amityville kind of movie per se. That's kind of like what it's going for, but it has like crazy gore sequences in here, and like the end is really cool. Like it's actually a really cool movie, and the music too really makes this movie. But on here though, this has so like I said, it's a 2-disc set. The first disc has that are new features. It has a brand new commentary track on here with Troy Harworth, author of Splintered Visions, Lucio Fulci and his films. Also has on here archival features like deleted scenes, theatrical trailer, TV spots, poster and still gallery. Then on the second disc, which is all features, some of the new stuff it has on here is a new interview on here with the co-writer, Q&A on here, calling Dr. Freudstein, an interview with Stephen Thrower, author of Beyond Terror, the films of Lucio Fulci. Some of the other features on here, a bunch of different cast and crew interviews, like archival cast and crew interviews as well on this one. Also has, like I said, the House by the Cemetery, original motion picture soundtrack. That's on the third disc, which is the CD disc of the movie. But a really cool movie here if you guys have never seen this one. And here's a look too inside here, the 3-disc set. Also has a booklet in here, which has like some posters and some pictures from the movie, all the kind of stuff about the production and everything. But a really actually pretty cool movie. But like I said, it's a little hard to explain some of what's going on with like plot wise, because it's kind of just like a lot of like interesting crazy things going on in the movie. And the next two here are both from ITN Distribution. These are two ones I just want to let you guys know are available. And this is a movie here called The Huntress, Ruin of the Dead. This is a movie that's set in 811 AD. And this is basically though about a family that's living out in the middle of the woods, and it's like this girl who's being trained by her father, like archery and skills and stuff like that, hunting skills. And at one point he goes and leaves, and he goes missing for a long period of time. And it's a number of years, I believe, and she kind of is starting to think, that he's not going to come back. And one day and there's like parts of time when it like flashes back to her when she's being trained by her father when she's younger. But the one day though she's out in the woods, like, practicing hunting and stuff, this is during the time when her father's gone, she ends up finding this guy who's real injured out in the woods, and ends up taking him back to the house to, to try and, help him. And you know, it's kind of about too, like they're also having like these visions and stuff like that of like things that are like could be happening, like these bad like battles and bad like evil things that could be coming. And it's basically though about them finding out though that this guy who is out there has been sent there to help them, and he has a reason for being there because he's like sort of trying to warn them that something bad is coming for them. It's kind of like what is going to be coming for them. It's actually a really, really well done, you know, film here. Like I said, this one is called The Huntress, Ruin of the Dead. And the other one from ITN Distribution is a movie called Kingdom of Swords. This is a movie that's basically, though, it's, you know, set during the Middle Ages, and it's got kind of like a Robin Hood kind of Game of Thrones kind of vibe to this one. And it's basically, though, about this prince, you know, who is kind of, you know, trying to, you know, it's kind of all about what he goes through and kind of like this period of his life and about like the battles that he goes through and like, you know, relationships and the ups and downs of his life and all these kind of things. But it's a really big epic battle film, but it's really, really well shot, and like the location and everything where they filmed this, like this village and everything, it's like a really, really well, you know, put together location and everything, and it has a really like real like I said, it's got that Game of Thrones kind of like vibe and look to it and everything, but it's actually really, really well shot, great cinematography and everything on this one here. The next one here is from Magnolia Home Entertainment. It's a movie that stars Tim Heidecker, you know, of course from Tim and Eric, and you know, behind like Check It Out with Steve Brule, and it's called Mr. America. And this is basically like a mockumentary kind of documentary. It's done like a documentary, but it's like not real. It's like a fake documentary per se, and it's about like Tim Heidecker sort of playing, he's playing a character named himself, but it's not really him. And he's like this guy who is trying to run for district attorney of the town, and like he's like going around putting up flyers, talking to people, knocking on people's doors, trying to get people to vote for him. And like he's kind of like like his character is like scheming things up. He's always has like these sort of get rich quick schemes, like weird kind of products he was trying to sell in the past, and like all kind of like odd things that he was doing. And it's kind of got like, it's kind of like Borat a little bit too, where I feel like it's like portions of it or might be real stuff with him like talking to people in the street, and then people are in here like I think it's Greg Turkenstein, no, Greg Turkington, I believe that's his name, you know, who is I always think of him as playing the character Neil Hamburger, you know, who went on a lot of episodes of like Tom Green when Tom Green had like Tom Green Live. He would go on there, he's a character who would do that crazy comb over and would do like these crazy like stand-up comedy jokes and stuff like that. He's in here as well, and he's like into like movies and stuff like that. It's hard to explain what's happening in this movie, but it's kind of just like him running for, you know, district attorney, and just kind of like the stuff that he's going through, and he's kind of like clueless about like what he's doing. He doesn't even really know why he's doing this, but he's like trying. It's like kind of like his newest like thing he wants to do. Because like I said, he's always kind of up to these sort of scheming kind of things. It's actually got some really funny like wacky stuff, and it has like a Tim and Eric kind of vibe a little bit to this one. But it has on here a commentary track on here, deleted scenes, and on cinema at the cinema special edition, and as well as a theatrical trailer in this one. The next ones here are all from moviezing.com, and I'll have a link below where you guys can order these ones for the best price. This one is also from the Warner Archive. It's a movie here called Two on a Guillotine, and this is basically though about this guy who is like a magician who has done like all these kind of like crazy illusions and stuff like that. And in the beginning of this movie, like it's right before his daughter is born, and then it cuts to like 20 years later, and you know he just passed away, and his daughter has kind of come to the funeral to hear the will about like, because you know his father, you know, her father was like really you know, wealthy and like had a lot of money through, you know, his illusions. It was kind of like a Houdini kind of guy. He was like really popular and everything, and she goes to kind of see what's her inheritance and what she's going to get. And when she gets there, though, she finds out that you know, her father had in the will that he's going to do everything he can to try to come back to life, as is like his biggest illusion, to go out, and he's going to come back to life. And what she has to do is she has to spend the night, every night between these specific times, in this you know, in the old house, you know, where she grew up in this mansion and stay there. And if she doesn't stay there every night and she leaves or tries to leave or anything like that during this specific amount of time she has to stay, then she won't get the money. And she basically, all the money will go to like these other people. So it's kind of about her going to stay in this house, and this other guy who wants to kind of buy the house or something like that. He ends up there too, and he ends up staying there in the house with her. And basically, though, it's kind of like, you know, is this father going to come back? Is he going to do like this crazy illusion? Because the second they get in there, it sort of seems like there's some weird kind of like things that are sort of set up to kind of scare her and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, is this guy going to come back? It's actually a really pretty interesting movie here, one I had never seen before. Picture quality too looks really, really good here. The next one here is from the Warner Archive as well, and this is a show that I watched a lot as a kid. And, you know, I'm glad that they're continuing to release seasons of the show. And this is the complete third season of Hanging with Mr. Cooper. And this is one of those shows that I feel like you don't hear about this one as often as other ones. You know, I feel like it kind of, like, I don't remember this show really having, like, a big syndication where it would, like, replay a lot. Like, I might be wrong about that, but I don't really remember this show kind of playing too often, you know, after it aired. And I think it was on... I can't remember how many more seasons it went. Like I said, this is the third season, and I think this was, you know, in the 1994 to 95 is when this one was on. So I don't remember how much longer this show aired, but like I said, I don't feel like the show played too often. It's basically, though, about the character Mr. Cooper, who's like the substitute teacher. And it's kind of about him in his school with like all his problems with his class. And this one, he's like this, you know, the coach, the assistant coach, and it's kind of him, you know, with all the kind of problems in school. It's kind of about his like home life kind of problems, relationship problems. It's just a really, really fun show. It's really fun to see this show again because it's one of those things that, like I said, I have not seen this show since this aired. So I'm really glad that they're releasing the show on DVD here. The next one here is from the Warner Archive as well. And this is on the complete first season here of the show You, which is a show that is on Netflix. And I believe this show is going to be getting a second season as well, I've heard. And this is basically, though, about this this girl that comes into this bookstore and sees this guy, and he seems like this kind of guy. He's like a normal guy, and basically, though, he starts kind of talking to her, kind of acting like, oh, he likes her and everything, and he basically gets her information, and he's like becomes like stalkerish, but he sort of seems like he's a regular nice guy. And basically what's going on, though, is he's become like obsessed, and he starts kind of seeing her, but then he also, like, since he finds out information about her, like if anybody like gets in the way of them, or anybody like says anything bad about her, you know, about him, or tries to like talk her out of seeing him, he has like bad plans for what he's going to do. And it's kind of one of those things about somebody who is like totally nuts and like you know, absolutely obsessed. And it's kind of about like insane obsession that goes to like these crazy deranged levels, and about showing that kind of anybody can go be crazy, and you have to really watch out for anyone that you talk to. That's essentially what it is like. Is like somebody that seems like a normal guy could really, really be bad, and can really be up to some serious stalker, dangerous, bad stuff going on. It's actually a really pretty interesting show here. I just started watching this one here. And like I said, this one is from the Warner Archive as well as like I said, all these ones I've been showing coming up, or, you know, you guys can get on the moviezing.com website. And the next one here is from moviezing.com as well, and this is also a Sony title. This is a movie here called Wild America, which is directed by William Deere, who also directed Harry and the Hendersons. This stars Jonathan Terrell Thomas, Devon Sawa, and Scott Barstow. This is basically about these three brothers who are all, you know, they basically do, like, make these little, like, shorts together. They do, like, crazy little films and stuff like that they play to their friends and everything. But then the one day, though, they get this in the store. They buy this, like, really nice camera. And they come up with this idea that they want to go around and, like, film, you know, like, endangered animals and wildlife and things like that. So that's kind of them going on this journey to go and film these animals, and kind of like going in these like sort of dangerous kind of like, you know, terrain and stuff to try and do this. And they also are doing this too because they kind of want to get away from their father, because their father is kind of like doesn't like what they do, and is kind of like not the nicest. And because like when the father was gone, because he's recently in the beginning of this movie he's come back, and before, you know, they were kind of allowed to make their movies and kind of like, you know, things were not hectic, but once the father came back, things got really, really hectic. This is one of those movies, though, I had not seen this movie in such a long time, but really, really cool. This one has a Blu-ray release, and on here, though, it has a theatrical trailer as well. Next movie is another from moviezing.com as well. It's also a Universal title. This is a Kevin Costner movie. So I always really liked this movie, and it's called Dragonfly. This is another really sad movie. Like, the end of this movie, I remember when I first saw this movie, I was like crying so bad to this movie. I mean, I can't even tell you how bad I was. I remember like, whoa. And I remember like, I don't know, that's the one big thing I always remember with this movie. But this is basically, though, about Kevin Costner in the beginning of this movie, though. His wife is in another country. She's kind of helping people in this village. And, you know, they have to leave the village because there's this terrible storm that's coming. And their bus ends up going off into the river. And the wife ends up dying. And Kevin Costner's character is really shaken up by this whole thing. And, like, because, too, when he goes there and they never found his wife's body. So he's thinking, well, how do they know for sure that she died? And once, right when he gets back to America, though, because he's like this doctor and everything, and like he starts like you know, starts hearing these weird things and hearing people talking and hearing like seeing these dragonflies all around and like seeing like these symbols and seeing things that's like making him think that, you know, is somebody trying to tell, is his wife trying to tell him something, that maybe she's not dead, that maybe like she's still alive, that there's something is going on. And it's basically, though, about him trying to figure out exactly what is going on, and his wife trying to tell him something. What does all this mean? And it's a really, really interesting movie here. Has on here, though, feature-wise, it has deleted scenes, a spotlight on location. Has on here, then, as well as a feature commentary track with the director on this one, but a really, really interesting movie here. And the next one here is from moviezing.com as well, and this is also from RLJ Entertainment, and is a Shudder exclusive film. This is called The Night Shifter. This is about a guy, though, who works at a morgue, and he basically has, you know, the people, like the bodies that are going in there that he's working on and everything, he has this ability to hear them talk. So like they did this crazy way they were having them talk, like where they were like doing like this animation to them. It was like a really interesting kind of way they were doing this. And basically, though, they start like telling him things like, oh, well, I remember this and this is how I died. And like basically, though, he starts to kind of find out things about them. And in this movie, though, he's having like problems with his wife because his wife is like, you know, like cheating on him and all these kind of things. And he basically like does something bad because he finds out about somebody that was killed, and he tries to like, you know, take out the person that the wife is sleeping with, and, you know, cheating on him with, and like go to like these bad guys and tell them about it, and it kind of causes this whole downworld thing. But it's a really interesting concept, how the aspect of like him talking to these people and finding out details about them, about how they died and stuff that, you know, no one else would know, like, and like he's able to like call people's families and say, like, somebody who would be like a John Doe that they didn't know who it was, he figures out who it is, and he like calls the family and tells them. But it's actually a really interesting concept here. On here, though, it has you know, the original language version in Portuguese. It also has an English dubbed track on here as well. And the next one here is from moviezing.com as well, and this is also from Vertical Entertainment. It's a movie here called Iron Sky: The Coming Race. This is a sequel to the film Iron Sky, which came out a number of years back, which I actually really thought that was a cool movie, the first film. So this is a cool follow-up. It's basically, though, the first one was about like this Nazi moon base, like where Nazis were living on the moon, and this is now like, you know, it's basically people like the only surviving humans on Earth are on the moon base, but then it's like the Nazis may be coming back, and it's a group of these people who are trying to dig down into like the center of the Earth, or center of this area, to get to what they believe can stop the destruction of everything and like save everything. It's a really interesting concept of a movie, and there's like really pretty cool like special effects and stuff in here, like these crazy like dinosaurs and these creatures, and it's actually really well done effects. And like Udo Kier's in this movie, Tom Green's in this movie playing like a really different kind of role in here. And I thought this was actually a pretty fun, like crazy, and there's like some real goofy kind of stuff as well in this movie. And the next one here is the last one from MovieZing.com. This is also an MTV release, and this is Awkward Season 3 Part 1, which is a really fun show. I only just recently started watching this show, because I didn't watch this show when this was originally on. And I don't think currently, though, MTV really does like scripted TV shows anymore, like shows like this anymore. Like, at least not that I can think of, that I've seen in a long time. It's a really, really fun show, because the first season of the show was about the main character, and she had this accident, and everyone thought she tried to take her own life, and like it kind of was like her character before really wasn't popular, and now, though, she became popular overnight in school, and now it's kind of her in school trying to figure out exactly in this particular season what she's going to do with her life, and like what her plans are, and kind of like the ups and downs in school, and like relationship things, and all kinds of stuff. But it's actually a really, really fun show, and on here, too, it has a whole bunch of different features. It has webisodes, after show, cast interviews, season 3 fashion, behind the scenes of the photo shoot, who do I want to be featured. So lots and lots of features on this one. It's a 2-disc set here for this one. And then the last ones here are all from MVD. MVD, and these are ones I just want you guys know are available. This one here is from the David Susskind Archives. This is an interview with Nikita. I'm totally going to say this one wrong. Nikita Karaskavov. I know I'm saying this totally wrong here, but this is an interview here, which is a 215-minute interview from the David Susskind Archives. And this one here is from MVD as well. This is a documentary called Betty Davis, They Say I'm Different. This is a documentary on funk pioneer Betty Davis. This one has on here, though, feature-wise, it has a director interview on the making of the film, as well as an interview excerpt with Betty Davis. And the last one from MVD, this is also a Cleopatra Entertainment film. This is Miss Laurie and Son, which stars Vanessa Redgrave and Timothy Spall. Timothy Spall, though, is in lots and lots of great stuff I've seen throughout the years. And like I said, this is just one that I wanted to let you guys know where it was available from MVD. But anyway, though, guys, that was all for the review portion of this video. Thanks so much for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later.